Here we are in the middle of April during COVID-19. It's April 15th, so we're on day 15 of shelter in place in Lockhart. And I've been asked to kind of share what I've been doing in Bible study, and I've spent some time praying about it. And so this is what I'm going to share. I have been trying to read a book about Sabbath for well over 4, 5 years maybe. I bought this book that looked really good, seemed like that I needed it, and I've started it 3 different times. Every other time I've started it, I make it partway through, and then my life gets too busy, set it down, I move on, and I bump to other things that seem more important. Because Sabbath is all about taking time and stillness, which not my forte really. Wasting time, good at that. But being still and listening and taking time to let God restore me and my soul, aside from spending time in nature and things like that, not really good at it. So I have this book, The Rest of God, that I have had for 4 or 5 years, I would say. And when we had to start doing the shelter in place thing, I was like, you know what? Now would be an excellent time to read about Sabbath because, hey, it's kind of what we have to do now. But I don't get to go to Bible study in person anymore, and I don't get to have in-person conversations with a lot of people that I'd like to anymore. And so that gave me a lot of time to read. And I'm just going to talk about one tiny aspect of what I have been reading or what I've learned or gotten from the book. So there was it's not exactly a challenge. At the end of every chapter, he has a Sabbath liturgy, which is kind of like a suggestion of an activity. I got to the end of chapter 7, which was about legalism, which applies to me really well because I like to think of myself as a recovering perfectionist, but I'm probably just a perfectionist wanting to recover. So what it was looking at was the Mary Martha story and Mary choosing the better by sitting at Jesus's feet. And the author, Mark Buchanan, talks about how it doesn't say best. It's because there's got to be a balance between the doing and the sitting. And I'm really trying to learn balance in my life. So I read through that story and it asked me to stop and listen to God and see if he had something for me to do. And I did. I listened, and what I felt God wanted me to do was to spend a day without using my phone, which seems like a very strange thing to do during a time when basically the only way that we can connect to one another, except for those of us who live in the same house, is to use our phone. But I used to be a scout mom. My son was a scout for many years, and I miss going on campouts and being unplugged for the weekend or the week. So what I did was, because I have parents and I have a child who lives outside of our home, was I handed my phone to my husband, and so that if there was an emergency, he could see what was going on and take care of it, because that gave me peace of mind. Because like probably lots of people, I have anxiety about what's going on in the world and things like that. So when I say that I disconnected, but with a lifeline. I gave him my phone, and in my planning, I had all of these thoughts and hopes and dreams of what I would do with my wonderful unplugged day, which included like, oh, I'll spend time journaling. Side note, I'm a horrible journaler, but I thought, hey, this will be the time and I'll learn something and I'll journal and I'll write it down. And I thought, oh, I'll spend some time meditating. I'll spend some time being still and thinking, and I'll hear wonderful, awesome things from God. And I ended up with some giant list that seemed like a checklist for me of what I should be doing. And I decided, you know what? I don't think that was what the idea from God or the idea of Sabbath is. It's not a checklist. It's not oh, hey, you did these 3 things and now you're restored. So I threw away my checklist. I gave my husband my phone, and I just decided to go about my day and see what would happen. So I got up and did some guided journaling for a Bible study that I've been working on. And a little while after that, so I got up. So I got up and I did some guided journaling, ate breakfast, and then Redmond, who lives with us, woke up. He's a senior this year, and I promised him that we could practice driving and that I would take him to the bank. So I said, hey, we can go driving, take you to the bank, blah, blah, blah. So we get in the car, we go to the bank. How many of you have been to the bank since this has started? You can't go in anymore, so you get in a line. So of course we chose the longest line. I sat around and counted 15 million people go through all the other lines. Well, 15 at least, while 3 cars in front of us went. So we went to the bank, made it through the line, spent way longer than I anticipated on that. And then I said, well, just drive wherever you want to drive. As we're driving, we go past a house, and there's a person who's very, very important to me, who's very dear to me in my life, that I haven't seen in years and years. And he was sitting outside, and I was like, oh, okay, here's an opportunity. Redmond, park the car if you don't mind. I'm gonna hop out and I'm gonna say hi. I completely forgot about all of my social distancing etiquette, and I went up to this person and gave him a great big hug. And they were on the phone, so it was a very, very quick interaction, but I hadn't seen them in years, and it lifted my heart in a way that I can't even describe. So sorry for my lack of boundaries and social distancing, but there you go. So we went on about the day, and I ate lunch, and then my daughter, Annalise, had a biology project where she was supposed to go out and take pictures of trees and plants and identify them. And so she and I went on a walk, because I was like, hey, when you do that, can I go with you, go for a walk? And that's what we did. And we went for a walk, and we stopped and looked at, I don't know how many flowers, all kinds of flowers. And it was not the flowers and the whatever, it was the stopping and paying attention and listening, not just to the conversation about, oh, hey, what kind of flower is this? Oh, hey, look at that kind of architecture. It was just the stopping and listening and taking time to be in the moment that felt so nice. And she and I walked all over town, and after we'd taken a bazillion pictures of flowers, we moved on to talking about, oh, this is the house that your brother lived in when he was first born, and oh, this is the house where Felix lived in when Felix was born, and oh, this is the house where, and she was like, this is Lockhart, someone has lived everywhere, which is kind of funny and very true. But it was a wonderful, wonderful day of walking around. We spent probably an hour and a half or 2 hours walking around doing this, and when we got home, there was a big giant box sitting on the table that had all of these photo albums and just keepsake items that I need to, that it's a project that I need to work on that James had brought in from one place to another. And so I spent time, so I only meant to get out a few pictures and show them to her, but she and I ended up emptying the entire box, going through things, reading stuff from her journal when she was in 3rd grade, her poetry that she wrote when she was young, an essay that I wrote about her when she was a year old, about being adopted from China. And I lost all track of time and walked away from that completely restored and completely refreshed and in the moment. So I spent that time doing just what was in front of me, because it's what I stopped and noticed when I stopped doing my own thing. And as I did that, all I could feel was God saying, hey, here's something that I have for you. Notice this. Hey, here's something else that I have for you. Notice this. Do you see how much I love you? Do you see how much better your life is when you just stop and breathe? When you just stop and take time to spend time with the people that you love and the people that are around you. And so I did that. And not this, my phone, me and my phone, we have a love-hate relationship, because I like to be able to be in contact with people, but I can also waste massive amounts of time on it. So it was a nice thing to just be away from it and not. And I wish that I could tell you that the day after that I got up and it was exactly like that, but it wasn't. I got up, still played silly games, still got on social media, did all of that. But I'm very much aware of the fact that anytime that I stop, God is there for me to listen to. God's taught, well, okay. I'm very much aware of the fact that when I stop and listen, God is always talking to me. Um, and that the idea of be still and know that I am God is there, and I just have to grab hold of it. So that is what I did with my time, and that's what has made a difference for me in this uncertain time of COVID-19 just this last week. So that's what happened with my experiment to take time away from my phone. It was a great day, glad that I did it, really excited to share it with other people. Wish I could do it in person because I don't think I sound so goofy, but there you have it. I would really, really like to hear from all of y'all what's going on in your life, what Bible study things are making sense to you, what kind of worries are you having, what kind of things are working for you. If you want to leave comments below, I would love to answer them, and look forward to the time when I don't have to sit in front of a camera and talk like a weirdo. Anyway, love y'all. Peace.